Hey, namaste and welcome. I'm JC Yogi, and this is George Michael, and he's here with me in the shala today. We're gonna do some pranayama practice today called Kapalabhati. A kappa, PH, pa. The name has like aspirant sound, kappa. If you say that word nice and slowly, kappa, you feel that abdominal engage. Kapalabhati is preferably a practice first thing in the morning when we feel that fire. However, this can be practiced during the day as well. Ideally not in the evening, because you really don't want to engage that fire energy in the evening. We do more like Samavriti Pranayama, alternate nostril breathing Pranayama in the evening. Morning up to roughly 2 o'clock. It's really good way to practice that. However, please make sure empty stomach, water ideally, if you've eaten at least 2 hours minimum before you do this particular practice. Of course, has so many contraindications this practice. If you're pregnant, woman is pregnant, if you have high blood pressure, just take it easy and don't do many rounds. You can do gentle rounds. However, always seek medical advice when you do this particular practice. The Kapalabhati is engaging your abdomen, and that aspirant sound, ha, comes out from the belly, not only from the nostril. Kapalabhati means, as the name for it is called, the skull shining breath. Because when we do the breath retention, you're applying a locks. There's like 3 locks in the body. One at the root of your being, the Muladhara. This is a chakra, but then your Muladhara Bandha, which is lock. Then you got the Uddiyana Bandha, which is the abdominal lock, which is normally where we engage your core, navel to spine. Then you got the Jalandhara Bandha, where you pull the chin in, it's called the throat locks, where we draw in everything. These 3 locks represent or called often the Maha Bandha or the Great Lock. The Kapalabhati can take you into eventually Agni Sara, where we are activating this energy. Agni Sara is when you're engaged at abdomen, do your Kapalabhati, and then you hold your breath and you churn the stomach. Requires personally years of practice, and all of us can get it straight away. It's okay, it's just a practice. The Kapalabhati itself is a very powerful pranayama that really assists the circuitry of the breath in our body. The locks allow the energy to move, and then why is called the skull shining? At the end of the exhalation usually, or in a breath retention, when you sip the air, what happened, you're pushing the breath all the way into the skull, and it's like an explosion of energy goes into the skull and wash it away and release. And sometimes we need that little polish into the brain, and because we can get so much fogged up in there. And that, imagine that's like a little bit kind of like a cloud, and suddenly the sun shine and then release and kind of like dissipate all this fogs around, and you see a lot clearer. So really powerful practice. So again, to do this, you need to be upright. Notice how my hips are higher than my knee. You don't have to be cross-legged. You can, of course, you can do this on a chair, away from the back of the chair. I'm using a props, actually 2 props. I have 2 blocks and a cushion beneath me to help me support, elevate of my kind of like upper body, so I'm not slouching. If I'm slouching, there's no room for the belly to pump. Please remember, a lot of time we feel that upper torso doing that. So this is where you stack your head over your shoulders, the shoulders align with your ribs, and of course with your hips. So these are the stackness needed in that. So there's so many ways with your hand to do it. So you can palms open, thumb, index finger together. I like this called Mushti Mudra. A little variation of the Mushti Mudra is to engage and fire up the energy. Your thumbs upward, the heel of your hand rested on your knees, and that thumbs represent the fire energy. What I'm doing, if you imagine a candle, the flame really rise, or any, like a bonfire, you can see that flame reaching up and up and up. That's what we do with the Kapalabhati breath. So we're gonna do 1 round and I explain it. First round I'm just literally pumping the belly, and I'll explain what before the second round. I'll explain as well on the 3rd round. Now when we breathe into the belly, we force the breath out through the nostril. No, again, movement through your upper body or the head especially. As I said, the breath needs to come from here. So if you put one hand on your belly first before we start, and you go ha, 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 and you can feel that little pump and engagement. That's exactly what we need to do in the Kapalbhati. Well, of course, we do a little as a faster pace. That's all. Now, the pace, again, depends on how long you've been practicing this, how comfortable you are in practicing this. I like to go fast. I like to fire up that energy. You can go slower pace. Okay? One last thing, the jaw muscles relax. The tip of the tongue curl towards the roof of your mouth. So we keep that, because when we close the throat, what happens is we start to feel the tickly cough, and then we can indirectly stop this pranayama. Alright, take a deep inhale, deep exhale, maybe nose out of the mouth perhaps. Release everything. One more time, inhale, nose, exhale, mouth. Release it, and this is where we're going to start doing our Kapalabhati. And exhale it out all the way. Usually a round of Kapalabhati, roughly a double that. But just for the purpose of these videos, I want to keep it a little shorter round. So this is round one. And ideally you do about 3 rounds. If you like more, of course, there's more, absolutely. If you feel 1 round is enough, of course it's enough. Now on the next one, after the last sharp exhalation, we want to hold the breath. This is where we start to apply those locks. So that means after that, you're already engaged, you pull the chin down to the chest, and when you hold the breath, again, to an amount of time that's comfortable for you to retain and hold the breath. You need to apply everything in and up. So the moment you're breathing in, this is where your breath moves all the way to the skull, and of course, open up and shine that skull. Round 2, whenever you're ready, shoulders back, I remind you of the seat. Good. 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath, apply the locks, bring the chin down. Then when you're breathing in, lift the chin up and breathe it in. Well done. This is round 2. On the 3rd round, we're going to empty the lungs. So that means, and you go, you can breathe out from the mouth, because the sound is good, because when you hear the sound breathing out, you know there's no more breath. And then you're gonna inhale about half the amount, okay? So less inhalation. Then we apply, of course, the chin down, applying the locks, and then when you're ready to breathe in, you breathe in, okay? So final round, when you're ready. Exhale out all the way. Inhale half the amount. Hold the breath. Apply the locks. Chin down. Now whenever you're ready to inhale, lift the chin up and inhale very slowly in and out through the nose and coming back to the space. So these are called Kapalabhati Pranayama. So very, very powerful breath. I call them pick me up sometimes, because a lot of times, like I said, this time of the day, maybe you had lunch about 12 o'clock, maybe you had a little late breakfast and you feel a little sluggish. And this is really allow you to come to the practice of yoga where you feel more energetic because you amplify that energy. Also, the last round I did with you is when we start to work with Agni Sara. Agni Sara is when we exhale out all the way. There's no breath whatsoever when you apply the log. There will be the churning, like really engaging. And we start. I'll put a video in later on at some point, and hopefully you will practice it. But please take it easy. If you haven't practiced this before, Agni Saras, or ideally a practice with an instructor next to you, because it's really, really deep and a very effective pranayama. So myself and George say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Watch out for some more videos coming up on this channel and on my platform, and you can subscribe to my Momo Yoga. There's a lot of videos there as well available at different levels. It's like really start from £30 a month, nothing much, but you know, it's like less than £1 a day roughly, and you have access to all like over 200 plus yoga videos. Asana, pranayama, mantra, mudra, asana lab, smaller practice or shorter practice, longer practice, and so on.